Joel, who was nice enough to let me speak, and all of you guys, thanks for coming out. We are totally bountiful blessed with the Lord. And I hope these words resound somewhere with you. So please, everybody, just try and take something away from this. Amen.
Amen.
You guys can have a seat. Relax. So, like Joel said, I'm Alex, and Joel was driving me back and forth from the hospital to my house to hyperbaric chamber. But let me back up just a little bit. Atheism, agnostic, and God. I myself considered myself an atheist till I was 46. Pretty self-centered. I lost 250 pounds. Not even a clap. That was at 46. So I kind of considered myself an agnostic, spiritual. Pay it forward was very big with me. And at 52, I lost half my foot to diabetes. So all you diabetics, please check your feet twice a day.
Right.
Keep your blood sugars in check.
Right.
It's not a place you want to wind up. I left my house last Thanksgiving, and other than a month here, a month there, I spent the whole year in and out of hospitals, 100 days in rehab, and it was just bad thing after another. The foot got infected and it went to my heart. They had to pull out a pacemaker, put another pacemaker in, put this one in the trash, I assume. And then they came to me and they said, "You got a blood clot, you're on." So I met this nurse, Sandy, at Powerback, which is a rehab center. And she said, why don't you pray? And I'm like, would be kind of hypocritical of me, And if I go into a church, I'm definitely going to spontaneously combust. So, I said, what led you back to the church 5 years ago? And she said she got tired of being the victim. And that really stuck with me the whole night. And she performed a few minor miracles. I loved her stories. She's a very entertaining girl. I was there 3 times, and we hit it off even before she had mentioned God, because she doesn't want to be the nurse who is religious. She just wants to be one of the nurses. So she really doesn't tell people that, she'll say a prayer here and there, and she always had a religious channel on the TV. So she said, "What do you got to lose?" The rate I was going, nothing. There was nothing to lose and everything to gain. She came to my room one night and she said, "I only got like 5 or 10 minutes and I got to get out of here because I got to check out at a certain time or the Upper East get really upset." And she closed the door, took my hands, and we prayed, and it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. And she said, "I'm going away for 5 days. Just pray every night, see if you get any signs." And the signs were everywhere. It just one after another. And God cured my blood clot that was actually in my arm. And I don't get good news. I just couldn't believe it. So
Thank God.
I'm on board with God. One hospital decided, "Your leg's really infected." I won't mention the hospital's name, but I won't go there again. And they're close to my house. They wanted to take the leg off. They told me, "Don't eat dinner, we're taking your leg." And I said, "Well, Can I have the leg when you're done? Make a really good hood ornament or something, I don't know. So I go, you know what? I go, I've talked to Einstein. Greatest place to go if you have prosthetic problems. And they go, we'll give you a 70% chance of keeping the leg. Get out of there. They wouldn't release me unless the other hospital offered something different, which they said I couldn't prove, but I gave them enough reasons. So finally I went back to rehab, and that way I could check myself into Einstein. And they're like, yeah, we could put you in the hyperbaric chamber, which is 44 feet below sea level, for like 2 hours. Don't cramp up, because you're not going nowhere. You are basically the tobacco in a cigarette. You're stuck in there. And then they got to look at the scans, and they said, we'll give you a 50% chance of keeping your leg. So after the first day when I freaked out, claustrophobic, I did my 30 days. And I keep in touch with a lot of PAs. People wonder why. I go, because I'm a magazine rack full of issues. I want to be close to the people who are taking care. Oh, yeah, my cardiologist, the girl who works there, wants to go to a hockey game. I took her to a hockey game. Wow. I figure at least if something happens to me, I got a cardiologist with me, you know? So, when the girls, I called up and Jacqueline said, there's no infection at all, you've healed. I go, they told me it will be 60 days. And they're like, no, your leg is healed in half the time. Wow. And that was sheerly God. Yes. Sheerly God's will. Amen. And you know, I was at the point where I was getting be out of home care, which was pretty good. But there's cutoff points in the leg. The more infected it gets, the higher up they cut. The higher you get to the hip, the harder it is on your hip when you learn how to walk. And I already figured, if the leg goes, the leg goes. You fall down 9 times, you get up 10. I said, I really wasn't that worried about it. I mean, there are times that I would. Sure. But for the most part, and I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I expected to cry for bad news, not for good news. And I sat bawling my eyes out for like 15 minutes. I could not believe it. And I figure if I'm going to hyperbaric every week, I'm going to go to church every Sunday. I found myself. Karen found me at church. Good. And the funny part is, a few weeks earlier, Karen was helping me out with some religious stuff. And I said, remind me never to question anything you say. And she says, why don't you go to this church? It's right by you. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm thinking. She goes, do you want to go back and read your emails? So I just didn't even go back and read them. I knew she was right. So now currently, you know, I sign up for everything at my church that I can physically, humanly do. And men's breakfast, I'm taking classes to become a member at my church with the elders. And I hope to get baptized. That's my goal. I had it done when I was 1 month old, but that's for the parents. It's not for me. I didn't even know. My dad was an altar boy, and my last recollection at church was 11 years old. My dad told me, if the running board breaks when we kneel down, the kneeling board, I am going to hit you in the head so hard. But, you know, I'm reading. I don't even read. I'm the kind of guy that goes, oh yeah, Samson and Delilah, I can watch that in 2 hours. Right. So I'm reading like 3 or 4 different books. Actually, that should have tipped me off to what Joel does for a living. Because we're in the elevator going up, and he's like, what are you reading? And I said, I got this Joseph Prince book. I go, I really don't like them on TV, but I love the scriptures in the book. They're amazing. And Joel goes, yeah, I think he has a place in El Paso, Texas. Why a bell didn't go off right there, I don't know. Because he didn't tell me for a long time what he did. Yeah, I look forward to my Sundays. I cannot wait to go to church. Because it is new to me, I mean, everything's just like bright to me and shiny. I love to sit on the porch every night, wrap myself in a blanket because it's freezing out.
Right.
And me and God have our chat, and then eventually I get to my prayers.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't always see eye to eye. But I still sit and pray. It's like, I mean, because I don't know anything else now.
Right.
No matter how I'm feeling about God or anything, if the prayers are said, it centers me. And Scripture really centers me. I can just pick out a couple things and I'm back on track.
Beautiful.
I always considered myself a happy person, but finding God has just taken me to a whole nother level.
Beautiful.
And the best part of all is I have a Facebook page that has like 700, 800 people on it when I started with the leg and everything. Anything that happened to me, I documented. Mm-hmm. They told me the leg's coming off. It's hard to watch now, to look back and see yourself sitting there in the hospital bed crying. Mm-hmm. But it all took shape, and yes, I do hear Sandy's voice a lot. I find myself apologizing for things that aren't my fault because she says that, oh, God would do that. So, you know, I have managed to grow my Facebook page to almost 2,800 people.
Wow.
They like the message. The message, it's very Joel Osteen. It's very positive. And I've helped diabetics.
Great.
I've helped people who were starting to get wounds on their foots and told them what to do. I've even helped some people that are vastly overweight. And I said, look, you're 61. It's not too late. Do you want to see those grandkids grow up?
Right.
Get over to a hospital, take a meeting with someone. But the one thing that I learned most of all is that you got to love God before you can love yourself or others.
That's good.
And thank you all for listening to my little tale. Prayers for you all, much love, and go Eagles.
That's right.
Al, I was Al's chauffeur to the hospital every day for weeks.
Man, we went through a few drivers, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, but I was the best one, right?
Yeah.
And we became fast friends.
That's
And,
because I could talk him into going to Dunkin' Donuts and getting me a latte.
yeah, and did you ever have a donut? I had the Boston cream. You had the...
I not only after church I
yeah,
had
we
on
won't
the other
talk
day.
about the donuts in front of people.
No.
It was a diabetic nightmare.
That's how they got me in the gym.
Oh, they teased you with the donut?
Yeah, they're like, I think there's donuts in there, and the next thing you know, I'm in rehab, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, reach for the donut.
Is that why you guys put that donut sign down? And hang one from a string and go, yeah, get on that treadmill.
That's a good initiative. Al, thank you, my friend. We're thankful and happy for you that the Lord's been healing your body. That's great.